Neat stuff, neat stuff.
Hi there, Scary Gary. Glad you guys come back. Well, today we're going to talk about hot water in RVs. And I'm going to kind of break this up into almost a three-parter because I've been working on the thing for over 2 months and we're finally to the place where I actually got a very good solution. But why did I do this? Number one, what usually comes in most RVs is a little 6-gallon Suburban hot water heater. And I like to take a little bit of a longer shower, and definitely Mary Lou likes to take a little bit of a longer shower, especially if she washes her hair. And 6 gallons of hot water, it's not that much, and it takes probably 30 to 45 minutes to recharge. So maybe we can just make our showers and do the military showers and turn it off and on and make it through and things like this. But still, once you're done, the next person can get to take a shower for like 45 minutes. Or the last thing in the world you want is to be in the middle of a shower and wham, the cold water comes on and you're all soaked up. So it's just not a good thing. So I've been looking at tankless hot water heaters for my RV for quite some time and did quite a bit of research. And I found that a Fugatti was like in the third ranked highest to the second ranked highest, and I had the ability to buy it. I bought it through Amazon with door and everything else. It cost approximately $700. And taking the old hot water heater out is a little bit of a chore because you're going to have to get the caulk off the outside of it. It's probably not the one I had 10, 12 screws and it came out. You're going to have to make sure you drain your water system first. I basically took my old hot water heater out. And one of the first things I realized was if you look at the existing hot water heater, it's big. And my pantry, the bottom section of my pantry, which I need to go back to the original Loretta we had, the hot water heater was actually up at the front by the pass-through. Now it cut the distance of the pass-through because it was only a very small door on the driver's side, and on the passenger side it was the normal size door because the hot water heater was setting up there. So they decided, no, let's give these people the entire pass-through at the full size, and they put the hot water heater in my pantry, which in the pantry, that eats up the entire bottom shelf. Because on the last one, we were able to store a lot of stuff down at the bottom. And if you go back and look at one of our videos about the pantry and my size, I basically have revised it. But when I did revise it, I basically lose a shelf. And it wasn't that bad on the last one because we still had the bottom shelf. But this one, we had no shelf. So I did a major work on this pantry to only take maybe 60% of it for hanging clothes, and I did put smaller, so I was able to gain some of the space back. But the first thing I thought of was look at the difference between this tanked hot water heater and this tankless hot water heater. It's substantially different, and the spot that these are going in is a big spot. So hey, can I reclaim some of this area? Which you're going to see my last video of this three-parter is going to be all the work I did to actually gain, I think I gained like 4 cubic feet back of storage space. So 4 cubic feet in a trailer, that's some nice storage. But taking everything out, making sure you catch any water that's in the pipes, because again, water in the trailers is not a friend, and we do not want to get it in the substrate or any place possible. So removing it wasn't terrible. But when I went to install the Fugatti, it was tight. It was really extremely tight. I had to basically go around the outside of my opening and remove any piece of debris, any piece of plywood, stick it up, even actually ground the welds down so that it was as smooth as possible. And I mean, it was very tight going in there. It took me, I started like at 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and I was still finishing it up at probably 6 o'clock at night, and maybe had a couple hours of break. And so it was a long, drawn out process getting it in there. Now, once it was in there, then it wasn't that terribly hard. The Fagatti did require a pressure relief valve being added to it. I had to add one of those and drained it through the bottom of the trailer. The other thing is, all the tankless hot water heaters I looked at were all LP. There was none of them that were shore power or 110 power. So your Suburban has a plug that's down there that you run it when you're on shore power, so you can run it off electricity, or you can run it off LP, or you can run it off both, honestly. And the truth of the matter, we do that a lot of the time when we're at campgrounds so that it recharges faster. But I don't need that 110 hook up anymore. So the one thing that I did was I actually moved that 110 hookup that was on the floor, and I took it, the bedroom wall's on the other side, and I have installed a mirror on the wall so Mary Lou can sit on the bed and dry her hair, which she would have had to go back and get the plug in, so we're up there at the front, at the head of the bed. Now she can just plug it in right there at the bottom of the bed. So that was an advantage of eliminating this hot water heater. The problem that came up with the Fagatti is it only requires 2 power wires, and it's got to be of a DC. Now, the Suburban had 4. So which 2 do you use? And this is very easily determined by just getting a voltage meter. Well, the things that I've read about hot water heaters are they turn on by flow. And the flow, if the flow is not great enough, then it's not going to turn on. So then we get another situation where you're in the shower, and if you try to control the hot water heater between, if you try to use it like a normal faucet, then it doesn't work. So you've pretty well have got to turn it on full blast on the hot. And then if you want to regulate your temperature, you have to go over to its control, and then you set the temperature that you feel comfortable with. Now, I can live with that. But when we got said and done with this one, I absolutely could not get it to turn on. One problem I thought was maybe it is a flow problem. And I went and my pump on my RV, it wasn't that strong. I've noticed it from the very beginning. So I went ahead and replaced it with a Flowmac. And it did. The flow was so much better. But again, I could get it to act like it was wanting to turn on at this point, but I get an error code on it. And it looked up the error code, and the error code said it was failure to ignite. So be honest. And I'm giving you a little preview of what part B is going to be on this one. I kind of wanted to go with the Cadillac of tankless hot water heaters for RVs, and that is the Truma system. But first of all, the Truma system cost about $1,500, and they will not sell it to you. They have to sell it to a dealer, and it has to be installed by a licensed installer. So that's probably a 4-hour job, and if you're $150 an hour, that's a $600 on top of that. So you're going to be, if you get out for $2,100, you're probably doing pretty good. So me doing the work for $700 versus them doing the work for $2,100, I kind of lean in the direction of trying to go with the Fagatti, but I couldn't get it to work. Then I tried to call Amazon, and they put me in touch with Fagatti, but I left them like 5 different messages on 2 or 3 days, and I never received any information back from them at all. So at that point, I went in and got back with Amazon, and I said, hey, I says, if I can't get this thing running, I can't get any tech support, then boom, Now, to be fair, after that point, Fagati got in touch with me, and they were very, very professional, and they said, you apparently do have some problem with your unit, because that's what the failure to ignite is. We can send you out a new unit. And I had gone ahead and I had gone and looked at the Truma, kind of priced it, and I kind of made up my mind. I said, I got problems with this, and I've heard so much good about the Truma, so that's kind of where I decided, okay, because they gave me the choice of getting, turning it back to them, or turning it back to them and get money, or turning it back in a new unit. I decided, let's just get the money back, and we're going to sink it into a Truma. So, in a nutshell, I don't have much to tell you about how it worked. I've seen plenty of videos with it, and I don't know if we would have been happy with it. I definitely would have been happy with the $700 price to get it done, but I never got that far to find that out. So our next step of this video is going to be talking about the Truma. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I sure hope to see you next time.
If you like the video, give it a thumbs up.
Turn on your post notifications.
Put the comments down below.
Subscribe and you make us happy, right, Maggie? Oh.
Oh my gosh.